All right, we'll get into it starting now. It's the Questions Hip Hop making Illmatic back at it once again. The trio. This is a trio that you've seen before, you've heard before. Got my man MidaZ the BEAST with me.
Clack, 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 clack. That's the I'm running out of bullets version of do.
I appreciate you divulging that for people who might not have known. We are joined by return guests to the program, producer and rap nerd extraordinaire, Optiks. Optiks, what's good, man?
Got no sound effects. What's up?
Yep. All right. Bare bones, minimal. Before we get into this, we want to talk about your new project. You recently dropped an instrumental EP called Shandy. Tell us a little bit about it. You've been at it for a minute. You've produced for a lot of people. This is really your first instrumental effort.
Yeah, I mean, I love producing for artists, so I've never prioritized my own shit. But really, I didn't want to call this like a pandemic project, but this was like my pandemic project, like sitting in the backyard, beats that I'd pull up and listen to, and then the Easy As joint that you played on that I did the video. That was like kind of created towards the tail end of working on this. Then I sat on it for a little while, but decided it was time to get it out. Feels very springtime. And it's been great. I've gotten way more feedback than I expected. And yeah, it's felt really good to get it out there. And I look forward to doing some more.
Dope. Yeah, go stream that, listen to it. It's on Bandcamp, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, all the places.
Yeah, wherever you're listening to this, you can probably listen to that. Cue it up now. Surprise yourself an hour and a half from now.
Yes, because we're not going to listen to Optiks' album right now. We're listening and breaking down the album that he wanted to bring back to the program, which is Prodigy's H.N.I.C., the first solo album from Prodigy of Mobb Deep. It was released November 14th in the year 2000, 23 years ago, guys. You feel fucking old? Optiks, why this album? What was it about this album that made you want to give it the making Illmatic treatment?
I mean, there's a few that like I'd wanted to do, but this one was always, every time I'd talk about what to do next, this one was always in there. And it's like, I think it's kind of a slept on album, and Prodigy, he just means so much, so it's great. You know, you guys haven't done any Mobb Deep yet, right? No. Like, yeah, so it's just good to have something with him because he's such a great MC and kind of unique in a way. And yeah, this project it's from that era where there's a lot of fat on all the albums. So as much as I love this album, we got some work to do. So it's a good canvas for this format.
MidaZ, I know that you're a big Prodigy fan. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to know what your relationship to this album was and where you sort of stand on it in present day.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't have a big relationship with this album. I love the Infamous. I love Hell on Earth. I love Murder Music. I love the Mobb Deep catalog and loved it up until this point. And then this album kinda, not for anything of its own doing, it kind of came and went for me. And I re-fell in love with Prodigy and his artistry when Return of the Mac came out. And that second era of solo Prodigy was really my bag. Return of the Mac, H.N.I.C. 2, which I love. I would love to do that record at some point, H.N.I.C. 2. The Alchemist record, Albert Einstein, like those records really kind of, the Born in the 80s or whatever the 80s album that he had was, that one too. So, but this album kind of came and went for me, and I'm not 100% sure why. One note that I do have for this record though is this album and Murder Music seem to be like the midpoint of Prodigy rap life. So like there's Infamous, Hell on Earth, rapping Prodigy. And then there's HNIC 2, Return of the Mac, rapping Prodigy. And then there's like this Prodigy in the middle. And I think we've talked a little bit about this on the pod before, but I'm fascinated by the eras of rappers. You know, like they'll go through these changes. And this Prodigy from this record really only appears on this record and Murder Music. And after that, it's a different rapper.
Yeah,
right, you know what I'm saying?
Infamy Prodigy is definitely something different.
Yeah, because
like, he's
more toward that side now.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, I feel like Infamy, he almost didn't. He sounded a little off, and then you saw where he was going with it with like Return of the Mac.
Return with the Mac was like he perfected what he was trying to do.
And then it was just like, I feel like it was almost like maybe the engineers caught up, because he wasn't amping his delivery up anymore, but it worked. It clicked.
Yeah. And this album is like he's in between that. Like you can hear the very early beginnings of the newer Prodigy.
Yeah.
But he's still rapping like the older Prodigy.
Well, you got to also figure, like, this is the first solo album. I think it's always an interesting chapter for anybody who's breaking out to do it on their own for the first time. And in a lot of respects, I mean, my favorite tracks on this album are ones that could be Mobb Deep songs. You know, Havoc is present for a lot of these. And to me, you know, I guess I sort of see this as him transitioning, because he is an interesting artist. And it's also interesting when you're able to look at artists, unfortunately, when they have a ending chapter on their music career and their lives, because they're no longer with us. But he definitely started doing, the art changed, the writing changed, the approach to making albums changed. And in many ways, it sort of was, not that he was following trends, but it was evolving with the times. For me, I have an interesting relationship with Mobb Deep, or I don't know if I can say that it's interesting because it's my own relationship, but like, to me, I really, really, really love the Infamous. The Infamous to me is like the apex of everything that they've done. Every other Mobb Deep album that followed did not scratch the itch for me. But not to say that it didn't have moments that I appreciated and liked, and there's definitely like crazy records, but I think because of that, I have a similar relationship that MidaZ has to this album, in that I've heard it, I remember a lot of it, I definitely had to review it before doing this, because it's not a record that I know like the back of my hand. And, I would say, while I do think Prodigy is a legend, he's great, I don't know that I loved this album, and I don't know that I love this album right now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to pick apart for me. One
difference in my thinking and yours, though, is I love the album. I just was ambivalent to it at the same time. Like, I love it, but like there's other albums that you know what I mean? Like, it just... for no other reason, and honestly, Optiks might be onto something, just with the thought process of maybe it was just too bloated for me, and I just moved on to something else, because it was just bloated. Because to me, there are 10 tracks in here that make a really good record.
It's a 22 track album, which is what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and he got better at that, because again, if you look, I mean, my own opinion, but like, I love every song on Return of the Mac. I love every song on HNIC 2. I love every song on Albert Einstein. So like, I think he started to learn how to be a better solo artist once he got this out the way. But of course, this has some really high moments. It has really high moments, so we'll see.
But this is also the only major label solo album he did, so there's like,
that too. There's that too.
Which I'm not going to foreshadow my cuts, but the album, the 10 that I have sounds a lot in the vein of everything you're talking about to me.
But that's what he does, like Prodigy, and just a couple things about Prodigy. Number one, I feel like Prodigy is one of the most. I feel like Prodigy is one of the most disrespected deceased rappers that we have. And the reason why I feel that way is because I feel like there's a lot of rest in pieces that fly across social media on a daily basis, that fly out of rappers' mouths on a daily basis. And Prodigy don't really be on them lists of like, yo, remember Prodigy? It'd be, remember this guy, remember that guy. And like Prodigy's kinda, at least in my timeline, Prodigy's kinda ignored, is for lack of a better word. Maybe not forgotten, but ignored. Like even at I went to the Wu-Tang Busta Rhymes Nas show. And like you were like, they did a whole big like ODB, and you know they did like all the dead rappers, and I remember looking at Czar and being like, did they say rest in peace Prodigy?
It's got to be because he's in a group. I feel like that's got to be it. I think that like, and well, I think it's two things. I think it's because he's in a group, so it's kind of hard to eulogize Shook Ones when half of the contributors are alive and they're still with us.
I mean, Keep It Thorough is a classic song.
Yeah, but I think also to that point, if you look at like the DMXs or the Big Puns or whoever they eulogized, or the Old Dirty Bastards, those are rappers who had like crossover hits. You know what I mean? Like still hip hop as hell, but those songs that I don't know that there is a Mobb Deep or Prodigy equivalent to Shimmy Shimmy Ya or Still Not a Player. Like it's just, it was a different type of lane. That shouldn't explain why somebody like Nas or Wu-Tang would not pay homage to them, but I'm thinking of it maybe through the lens of connecting with the audience and just being like, yo, everybody knows this DMX song. Everybody knows this pun song. Does everybody know Mobb Deep? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I feel like
at a Nas and Wu-Tang show they do.
Yeah,
look,
so,
this theory falls apart when you think about it, but just don't think about it and it's fine.
Well, but okay, I say that, but I understand your point about like there being two rappers on Shook Ones, but Shook Ones is a top 10 all-time rap record. Like
yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even like it's one of the greatest rap songs of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of, and then if you couldn't go too many more rap songs without getting the Survival of the Fittest. You know what I'm saying? So like Quiet Storm. I mean, there's a lot. Keep It Thorough. I mean, there's a lot of these records that Prodigy, and then Prodigy for a long time was the most sampled rapper ever. You know what I'm saying? Like just on everything. So I just feel like Prodigy, and even me, like what I just say, like this album kind of got forgotten for me, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like Prodigy's contributions sometimes get overlooked, and Prodigy, Prodigy's one of the great rappers that we've ever had. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even when his style changed toward the end, because I remember the whole talk about Mobb Deep was, well, Prodigy don't rap the same, like he's not good anymore. And it took and I was a part of that chorus, and then it took a minute to appreciate what he was now doing. Like, wait. I think he stumbled upon something. Like, yeah, it's actually not garbage like we're saying that it is. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, like you got to train your brain different. I just think Prodigy gets I just think he gets ignored. He gets ignored a little bit, and I want to make sure that I'm real glad that we're doing this record, because Prodigy is an important rapper. He's an important rapper in the history of hip hop.
Yeah. So when the album came out, let's talk about how it was received. Honestly, it was received pretty well. The Source gave it 4 mics. Vibe gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Hip Hop DX gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Los Angeles Times gave it 3 out of 4 stars. So, for all of that, to be said, this record was pretty well received. That brings us to what we always do. We have to give it our own evaluations in its current stance. So, Optiks, how many mics on the 5 mic system do you give HNIC?
I mean, looking at it now through like the lens of how I listen to albums, I guess I would give it, like, I want to give it a 4 still, because it's a meaningful album to me, and like I love it. Like, it's got, the cover artwork's iconic to me. It's just dope. But I'd have to downgrade it to a 3.5 just because it does have a lot of fat on it. But yeah, so I'll give it the 3.5 treatment for now. But I think we can get it. I think we can get it past there.
Yeah, I mean, with 22 tracks, many of them being skits, I know for sure that this record is just going to keep being improved. I think for me, this record is probably a 3, and a lot of that is my own biases. You know, I already sort of...
We know you.
Well, but for those who might not understand,
the fans don't know him.
The fans think they know me, but they don't, bro. No, like this is like, again, I really loved The Infamous, and then everything else I can only kind of pick and choose and take in smaller doses when it comes to a lot of the Mobb Deep catalog. This is not the type of music that I necessarily love. That doesn't mean that I don't respect and appreciate Prodigy and the efforts, and I can appreciate it for what it is. But there's just it's not in my go-to, you know, immediate range of the type of content and the type of stuff that, you know, I just listen to, and that's fine. Like not everything's going to be for everybody. So for me, this is a 3, and I feel really confident that it's going to be higher, regardless. I mean, unless, you know. In going through these tracks, I can't see that there are tracks that are going to get kept that I would just be like, oh, how are we doing this? And it's going to sink it further. This record has a pretty strong identity. So for me, it's just kind of trimming.
Yeah. I'd agree.
What's your ranking, MidaZ?
Ah, man. You know, this might be the album that gets the biggest jump from me from where it is to where it can be when it's only 10 songs. Because it's probably... So I would have agreed back then that it would have been like a 4-mic album to me back then. Because you know, it's just the era and all that kind of stuff. I think probably looking back, I'm probably closer to Sean, where I'd say it's probably more of a 3-micer to me. But I feel like if we get this to the right 10, this could be like a 4.5. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be a whole different thing. One quick note, man. I always said with Mobb Deep and Prodigy, like their music was so easily identifiable. Like their sound was so easily identifiable that like you just if you knew that you wanted dark hip hop where people get murdered, like you knew where to go. Like, yo, I actually can just put on Mobb Deep and I'm guaranteed to get this. Like, new Mobb Deep album gets announced. You kind of already know what it sounds like already. You know what every beat's gonna sound like. You know what every rap is gonna sound like. And even though you could predict it accurately, you were still excited to hear it. And that was, I thought, something special about what they did.
I mean, yeah, they named one of the albums Murder Music. Like,
what do you want? What do you want? It's all there. It's all in the title. All right, so we're going to go through it. It's the 3-man vote. We vote to cut or keep after we review each song. And if we, get more than 10, by the time we reach the end of this album, we'll do a lightning round to determine what we cut. So first up, track number 1 is Bars and Hooks intro.
Yeah, keep your gun close. Fuck is up, huh? That's what y'all been waiting for, man. Yeah, the wait is over, man. It's over, nigga. P told me come out here and fill y'all niggas out, man. What up, man? What up, huh? Y'all feeling them or what? My bitches, my niggas, huh? Get changed.
yeah.
I wish that more of the beats on this album had the same character of that piano, and that because, like, to your point, what you said earlier, some of the most sinister music in hip hop of all time come from this camp, and this intro definitely delivers on that.
Yeah, bro, it's man, you know. I forgot that was how the album started, and I put it on the other day, and I just heard that. I was like, yo, this shit is so... Now, the problem is we don't fucking need bars and hooks on this shit, bro. Like, so one of me and I Make Mad Beats jokes from back in the day was we used to call all intros to any album that came out of Queens, Jungle and them niggas. Right? So we just assumed that all the group of people was just Jungle and his friends, right? But Jungle talking shit on a record sounds different than Bars and Hooks talking shit on a record. It just doesn't play the same, and it's really pointless. Like It's extremely pointless. Hey, yo, man, we here. You know what I'm saying? Prodigy. And it's like,
we know. We bought the album. Like I put the album on. Are you fucking kidding me?
As sinister as those keys are, like you could have did anything else over those keys, and I'd have been like, you got to keep this shit, bro. It sets the right mood. But bars and hooks, bro. So I'll be the first to step out and say it's a cut, and I love the keys on there, but it's a cut.
Yeah, it's
cut.
I mean, even the best version of it, even if it was jungle, it just wouldn't be long.
Even if it was jungle?
Yeah, even if it was jungle, it would be a pretty subpar album if we opted to keep a non-song intro over one of the other songs on here. So yeah, I don't know. Did we do this? I don't know if on Muddy Waters we wound up keeping one of the skits or interludes.
We did. We did. Okay. We either did or we really tried to.
Well, you guys really tried to. I think I fought against it.
Didn't we kept a pun skit?
I think we did.
Yeah. The rain and the rain.
Oh yeah,
but that's a musical skit at least.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but technically this is too. But yeah, I mean, bars and hooks. I don't think there's anything with bars and hooks on them on any album that exists that I would keep.
It's a cruel world. It's a cold world, but
I got to watch out. I work not too far away from Queens.
I was about to say you need to be careful, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like bars and hooks will still run up on you in 2023.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm in Long Island City a lot, so I got.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keep
I'm gonna stop eating at the Court Square Diner. I won't be there anymore.
Yeah. Make sure you check the show notes for Optiks' address and Google Maps. Okay, so it's a unanimous cut. That means we're moving on to the second song, produced by Prodigy. The song is called Genesis.
Some got killed, others fell victim to the gates of steel. Most try to instill sanity still. Stuck on this rock where we don't belong. I wanna go home, not sing this song, but I'm forced to perform speech napalm. Calm, surrounded by all types of harm. Dog man, fucking screw face, I watch hands.
That's a keep. I mean, this track, for me, it's funny, like, I didn't even always listen to this when I had the album and it was new. Like, cause it was such a long album. Everything I listened to was, at this time, was School Bus. This is right before I started driving myself. So the ride to school was about 30 minutes. So I might skip over this because I want to make sure I hear, I won't spoil what my favorite tracks are yet because we'll get there. But I wanted to make sure I heard my favorite tracks. So I might skip this, but this shit's hard. Especially going back to it now, I'm like, this is great.
Genesis is one of my favorite Prodigy joints. I love this record. It's just, it does everything I love from Prodigy. It's moody, and serious. You know what I'm saying? And like when Prodigy is moody and serious, like, and this is dark, but it's not like horror dark like some of their stuff can be. It's just moody. It's just heavy. It's thick. It reminds me of another one of my favorite Prodigy joints, which is the solo joint that he has on the Queensbridge album. Remember that joint, Optiks?
Power rap.
Yeah, power. It got the same. It got the same like sound as power rap, and I love that joint. And then hearing this was like, this is like another one of those. So it's just fire. I think it's a great way to intro the album. I think it's a good mood setter, and I think we keep it.
Yeah, my vote is to keep as well. I'm gonna just introduce the idea here. I don't think any of my things that I don't like about this album ever have to do with Prodigy rapping. I think, generally he's very consistent on this. So for me, where I made a lot of my choices just comes down to, do I like the beat, and does the beat sort of like hit the areas that I want it to? And yeah, to your point, this is super sinister. It's got a great, vibe to it, and Prodigy, it's perfect for Prodigy. And yeah, it is a great way to start the album. That's like, this is a much harder intro than having guys shout at you, for in the beginning. So,
well, to add to it, Prodigy is such a phenomenal, what I call a quote rapper. Like, Prodigy, this is why he's so sampled. He's so sampled because everything he says is a fucking quote. Everything he says is a quote, can be a line on its own. Because I don't know, he just thinks in a manner of, you know, like he just says really, it's funny because you wouldn't think that he's I don't think anyone would categorize him as a profound MC, but he says profound things like all the time. You know what I'm saying?
He makes it sound cool, and he also keeps it very simple. You know,
that's
like
the thing.
Like so, there's just things that you could totally like latch onto on a casual listen, and that's why it's perfect that he gets scratched in so many choruses and stuff because it's just a dope phrase. He's a dope like it's the same thing you just said. He's a quote rapper. He's a dope phrase rapper. Like he's got like, really great phrases. Yeah. So
and you said it. He sounds. There's almost nobody who sounds more like a rapper than Prodigy.
Right.
Like,
he's got one of the greatest rap voices.
If you were to draw a rapper, like you would draw a Prodigy, you know what I'm saying? With his voice and everything. Like, think about that. What's the LL Cool J joint? Like, some of the posse cuts that he's on. Like, when he comes on, it's like, oh, the real rapper dude just got on the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's Prodigy. So, yeah, I would say this is a keep. So, I'm glad it's a unanimous one. No fights yet.
All right, we're moving on to another skit. It's only been one song since we had a skit, and now we're moving on to another skit. Drive-through skit.
Nigga, are you trying to kick some knowledge? Nigga, fuck that, nigga. Give me your motherfucking jury, nigga. Take that shit off. Oh, you got a pager too? You're baller, huh? You're baller? You're this motherfucking shit. Better than me than the motherfucking cops, nigga.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why this got its own track. You know,
I know
classic, classic
23
scene.
years ago.
Yeah, classic movie scene, but like cut.
Yep, 23 years ago, bro. They just was giving track numbers away for free out this motherfucker. But yeah, it's got to go.
I have nothing to add. It's non-essential. It's a cut.
That makes it feel like toilet paper or some shit. Like,
well, it's just honestly, this one. A lot of the other skits are non-essential, but they at least make sense contextually. This one's just like, yo, you just like that scene from the movie. Like, it didn't need to be there at all. It's just a memorable scene from I was gonna say Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. Like,
I wonder what the clearance was like on that. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, I wonder, because then if you think about it, if it's not only, as I just callously called it, non-essential, but then was it also very expensive? Like,
might have been.
I don't know.
Could you see Prodigy at the Loud offices turning up because somebody suggested that they don't use the skit? Like, nah, the album's not coming out. Like, nah.
The whole thing doesn't work if you get rid of drive-through skit. Are you fucking joking? Are you fucking joking? The whole thing doesn't work. It's the heartbeat of this album.
I want to feel right quick. I'm gonna create now in my brain the reality that the reason why this whole album exists is because Prodigy wanted to use that skit on a Mobb Deep album, and Havoc was like, bro, it's gonna cost like 100,000 of our budget. Like, I don't think we need it. And Prodigy's like, nah, fuck that. You know what? I'm gonna just do my own album. You know what I'm saying? Yo, call Chris Lighty.
And just thinking of him like throwing a fit about this I feel so bad from stories I've heard. I feel so bad for everybody that worked at Loud that wasn't Steve Rifkin. Like everybody just getting like shooken down for money for like everything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, by the greatest rap group's entourages of all time.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say, if you're talking about this scenario, ultimately the only one who paid for it was Prodigy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that.
Well, this scenario, yeah. I'm thinking of other shit, but anyway.
Yeah.
Continue.
All right, so we're moving on to track 4, produced by Bink. It's Rock That Shit.
For my thuns, like I need more vehicles to make more runs. Send a rep to your doorstep, handling arms. Sick a dog on your most valuable done is war. You talk more, we split splash the most. Wet your clothes, fucked up, your uniform got all soap. Pop niggas like a fish fry, take me for jokes. Silence that bitch, I put one in your throat. Don't provoke my niggas to jump. You might.
I was actually pretty surprised. I don't remember this being a Bink beat because it doesn't really sound like a Bink beat to me. At least what I think of when I think about his signature style, and it doesn't sound like a Bink beat to me in a bad way because it sounds like it's emulating a different type of style, which I'm not a fan of. So I'll just go ahead and say it. This is a cut for me because I just really don't like this beat. It sounds very much like a 2000s beat for my personal taste, the worst way possible. So it's a cut for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna co-sign Sean. It's a super cut. It's a super cut, like white people getting haircuts. It's a super cut. It's a rap. It's gotta go. And the reason why I say that is everything Sean said, and what I'll add to it is it's just so hollow. And Mobb Deep music, Prodigy music is not hollow. Like it's just not hollow. It's thick. It has weight to it. And this joint is just so computerized. It's weird. Funny thing though. Prodigy, again, as a growth of an artist, was able to perfect this sound years later and bring this type of sound back, but a meatier, more sinister version of this. This was definitely like the early 2000s version of like, hey, we just heard Swiss Beats and everything he just did a year or two ago. Like, let's keep that going. Everybody had one of these joints on their record for a little bit, and I don't know, but it's a skip for me. It's a cut, and Optiks is gonna keep it.
I was absolutely gonna keep this joint because this is not a Bink beat that I love, but just overall, I like the song. I like how he sounds on it. It's a weird beat. But it's hard. It's not in a way that like bothers me. It's just kind of like a standalone beat in Bink's catalog because it definitely sounds a little bit like Swizz, but like the drums sound like Bink still. And yeah, I don't know. This shit's just hard to me. Like it's not one of the best songs, but it's a good early song on the album to me. So I definitely would have kept it. Now everything's wrong.
Early too.
Fuck. Well, we did Black Album before, and that was a really easy episode. We didn't really disagree about a whole lot.
Right.
Yeah. So it's only right that we add some stress to our dynamic. You found the beat hard. MidaZ and I found the beat hard to listen to, baby.
Who do we trust most on this subject? MidaZ doesn't rap on drums,
right? Yeah, we did bring our own inherent biases in here. So
yeah.
I'll tell you what.
We're gonna start dissing each other now. All right.
The song also doesn't make sense if you lose the drive-through skit that preceded it. So if one goes, the other has to go. So yeah, we're gonna move on to track number 5. Produced by Hangman 3. We'll get into that. It's What You Rep featuring Nori.
Heard something. Copper squat though, you might learn something. We giving out back braces and arm slings. Reality rap, the only song I sing. Nothing fugazi, strictly the real thing. Live in the flesh, my niggas fresh out the bin. When I see you done, new guns, money ain't a thing. You can catch me in the click in the spot every day. Nori Guzzle and Chris, I down Chardonnay.
Hey man. All right, right quick. I'll hop in. Nori's ad-libs are fucking hilarious to me on this song. They're so like they're just so random, and they just like there's no science to like what he's doing ad-lib wise. But I love the beat on this joint. The beat is dope. I think it's a good step up in just energy from Genesis. Like Genesis was, one way, and then okay, all right, now we doing this. You know what I'm saying? And it got some bounce to it. Classic Prodigy, classic Queens joint. You know what I'm saying?
This is like the most Queens sounding beat.
It's a hella Queens sounding beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I love it. So it's a keep for me.
Yeah, it's a keep for me too. It's just hard. Like, and then we can get into Hangman 3 because Hangman 3. It's a controversial figure, but they got some. There's a couple joints they've done. This was one of the harder ones.
This was Benzino. doing the production thing.
Who?
It's a keep. What?
Benzino.
Oh, really? I didn't. I was looking at the Hangman 3, and I'm like, why do I know that name? And
From the
source, Holla Boston. You remember Holla Boston?
From the multiple source double page spread ads. That's exactly what. Yeah.
I'm looking at it like, damn, I know that name. The source, bro. 6-page ads. All right, no doubt. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a keep for me as well. I think I've already, for anybody listening, I've already given you the formula for whether or not it will cut or keep. So if the beat sounds sinister, it's being kept on this. So yes, this checks the boxes for me.
Because Prodigy does what he does every time.
Exactly. So it's just about is he moving in the right musical direction? Does it make sense or not? So for me, this is a keep. So we are keeping it. It's unanimous. We're moving on to a single from the album, produced by The Alchemist. Let's keep it thorough.
Another 4 wheels, write a book full of medicine and generate mills. Tour the album, only for more sales. We used to catch those on the block with krills. Now it's paid shows, promoters post up bills. Sign deals only if the math is real. If we can't match numbers, then you can't have the head nigga in charge of shit. Live nigga rhymes artists.
Obvious cut. No, just kidding. It's this is one of the best rap songs of its era.
Yeah,
it's an incredible beat.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should just take this space to talk about all the great things we love about it, because this is a unanimous keep, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like it's got such a. You know what's funny, man? Like, again, we know Mobb Deep music. We kind of know what to expect from Mobb Deep music, but what I think that Mobb Deep did really well throughout the history of Mobb Deep, and when I say Mobb Deep, I mean Prodigy, Havoc, and Alchemist, because that was Mobb Deep for a stretch. You know what I'm saying? To some extent, the singles were always crazy, bro. Like, if you look through like 5 Mobb Deep albums, always the singles are just phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal. And the singles didn't always follow the pattern of Mobb Deep exactly. Like, the synergy would be there, but it would be some different sound. Like when you think about It's Mine with Nas, you know what I'm saying? Like, that sounds like a Mobb Deep song, but you would have never guessed that beat. You know what I'm saying? Being a beat that would be on. And this was one of those things, man. Like, this was a different sound. And that's one of the things that kind of made it ill. Like, this was Alchemist first stepping out. Like, yo, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, look what I'm doing. And it was a phenomenal joint. There's no hook on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like
heavy airplay all day. No
heavy
chorus.
airplay all day with no chorus. Like, it's phenomenal, bro. It's such a New York record. Like, sound like New York. Like, yeah, man, I love it.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add. It's great. It has to stay. And as we currently have it in the lineup, this would now be track 3, which kind of makes it even harder, you know, like just to have like such a smash banger so early in the album rotation is I think it's pretty cool.
And one thing I will add, just to you saying, like, talking about how Mobb Deep would always have the crazy single, from a like digging perspective, there was always like a crazy sample, whether it was them or like, cause like, you know, Infamy had Getaway.
Yep, Getaway.
And like, you know, that was Easy LP, but like they heard it right away and it was like, oh, that's Mobb Deep. You know, like Win or Lose, Got It Twisted.
Got It Twisted. Oh my God.
Got It Twisted is insane. Like, that doesn't belong to anybody, but certainly not like as a Mobb Deep sound. So it was wild to hear them do that.
Yeah, like they just always had, even if the album as a whole wasn't great, they always would have that kind of like ill thing nobody else was thinking to sample or digging enough to find.
Yeah, facts.
All right, so we're moving on to track 7. It's Can't Complain featuring Chinky and Twin Gambino, produced by Prodigy.
Lumbar support on the belt, doing 90 or more, debating on the latest rhyme wars. Where units don't count, but your rap page add up to large amounts. Get my thrills, putting other niggas' scales to sleep. Catch chills off of infamous beats. Swing the trees, doing one-hand U's. Blowing on the ooey, cause we can't have the medicine canoeing. They go the boys to the right, no days and nights like
Yo,
that.
can I ask something funny about this? Because you didn't play the intro.
Dirty as fuck.
So this track has an unnecessary intro on it, but it's fucking hilarious because I never really noticed this because I would just kind of like skip over it or tune out. But like, so it's Twin calling Prodigy to wake him up.
Yeah.
And you know, Twin's got one of the most recognizable gravelly voices of all time. And he's on the phone, and Prodigy, and they're like acting that they're doing. He's like, "Yo, who is this? Who is this?" Twin's like, "You hear me? You know who this is?" or some shit. And I'm just like imagining them acting this out, and that I would have been on the floor, like you know who this is, because acting like you don't know Twin's voice as soon as you hear him is ridiculous.
That skit is mad funny in the beginning. Hey, yo, man. Yo, you on the way, man? You supposed to be on the way. Like, oh, shit. Yo, word up. Yo, I was asleep, dog. Yo.
There was
It's
definitely
just
a
hilarious.
subsection of like rap albums from this time period where they were very focused on making sure that we knew that they had people calling them to make sure that they were going to be on time for things. It like almost seems like a flex, but like surely there must have been a better way. Like, I don't know, just having the homies call you. I'm thinking of like Puff, like trying to wake Biggie up from, going back to Cali. It's, I don't know. Sort of a flex. What do we think about this one, fellas?
This shit's fire. Like, I love this more now than when the album came out. Even like, it's great storytelling. Like, and I love Twin being on there. Like, he adds to the story really well. Like, kind of picks up right where P leaves off, and the beat is, I think a lot of the Mobb Deep stuff is. It's Havoc is like the producer, but Prodigy was a part of the production process too. And this beat and the Genesis beat kind of like show like, hey, when he would do that, he knew what he was doing, or at least he knew what he wanted to hear. Because this isn't like a crazy technical beat, but the choice of sounds is perfect. This is like a perfect beat, Yeah.
It's got a classic sound to it. It's got a real classic sound to it. Like, Prodigy had an ear. That's why, he was a rapper with an ear, bro. So, like, I feel like a lot of why, like, Prodigy doesn't have not until very late in his career did he start rapping over beats that really were, like, for most of his career, he always rapped on dope beats. You know what I'm saying? Which lets me know that he had an ear to pick great beats all the time, you know what I'm saying? So like, this beat's crazy. Hey man, you'll never get me to say anything negative about Twin. Twin voice is just crazy. I love every Big Twin feature I've ever heard in my entire life. So it's a big keep for me.
Yeah, I actually do really like this beat. I did a list of what my 10 were going to be. This was not on it, only because there were 10 others that I thought were better than this. But I'm not mad at keeping this because even listening to it now, it is a really great sample. And the chemistry with the MCs on there is dope. So my vote was to cut, but I'm not mad at keeping this. Yeah, it's good. But we are deviating from what my original list was. So
we deviated from Optiks list too. That's why y'all got to be like me and don't have no list. Just pull up.
But sure, you have some sort of agenda, right? Like you know what you're doing.
Well,
I just wanted to make sure I had 10. Like in mind.
Nah, you know what? Honestly, for this particular album, I have no agenda. I'm going as I hear them come up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's thrilling.
For this particular one.
All right, well then we're moving on to track 8. It's Infamous Minded featuring Big Noid.
Victor, sometimes a nigga gotta step up and bring war spray, K's and go out in the blaze. Young guns learn to duck so they won't catch strays. Won't shoot the beat frontin' or the waste shots for nothing. If I'm pulling out my torch, I'm gon' hit something. Whatever, slugs through your Averex lever. I close one lid so I can aim a little better. I stop firing and decock the hammer. You need trio.
I'm gonna nerd out a little bit on the production tip. It is interesting to hear the producer, who I believe was Robert Shim Kirkland, doing the note repeat thing where like that's usually not done a lot that not on hi-hats in hip hop, where, you know, at the end of the bar, he's sort of taking like the snare, like being like, you know, it's very like almost electronic type shit. That is interesting to me. That is the good thing I can say about what I feel about this song. I don't like the beat. I don't think it's a good beat. I think it's kind of obnoxious, and it's a cut.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with you and say I hate drums, so it's a cut for me because it's mad drums and they're hella obnoxious and I hate them. So I hate this beat. I hate it. You know. So yeah, I remember this song being skipped every time I listen to this album. So yeah, it's a cut.
Yeah, this track's interesting for me because this was gonna be a cut for me, but I was
with the swerve.
Well, because Rock That Shit's out, I was like, oh, you know what? This might need to be a cut, but I'm between this and another one that I was going to cut for what would take Rock That Shit's place in my mind. So I was going to give this one a shot, and then we could cut it later. Because this isn't good, but there's like...
Go on.
There's a charm to the beat to me. There's like the little drum rolls, like there's like a charm to that. Like this sounds like it should have just been.
Sean's face is like, would you call it a charm or? Yeah,
this should be this would have been like a mixtape freestyle. This doesn't sound like it belongs on the album, but this sounded like, okay, Prodigy's freestyling over this kind of like stripped down. You know, he's doing a freestyle based on BDP. This beat's really stripped down. It's just some hip hop shit. It's not the hottest shit, but it's cool. And I remember this song very distinctly. I definitely liked it more for some reason when I was younger, but I'm not sure why listening to it now. But I would have kept it to give it a shot.
It's killing me. Sean's face is killing me while you're talking. Sean is like,
see, because it's like,
Sean's like, so, what the fuck are you saying, bro?
All right, so MidaZ doesn't like drums. Sean likes things to be musical. This song has mad drums and it's not musical. So, but it's like it is very old school, like in that like 80s way. It has a charm to it.
Oh, it is, but you know, like I feel like the difference. Okay, so let's talk about musically abrasive, drum heavy, sometimes atonal. You could use all of those things to describe any LP beat that you would randomly select.
This is also true.
What's interesting, a paradox one might even say here, is that a lot of those LP beats somehow have a little bit of a soul or a swing to them, and this beat on this Prodigy album does not have that to me. Like I'll say this, like I think it's commendable that for artists and for a collective that was known for a sound and had a sound, and we kind of touched on this before, I think it's kind of commendable to branch out and do something. It's not like this was like chasing a trend at the time, like, oh, you know, everybody was doing this crazy shit. It's cool to experiment. I just think when I hear this, I'm like, this is not like this sounds like somebody's early beats. Like, oh, I just got this machine, I'm kind of like fucking around with it. Like, isn't this cool? But it's interesting, but in a bad way, in like a way that it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like you remember this beat because it's jarring. You know, it's not.
Optiks. Do we know anything about Robert Kirkland?
I should have looked this up. Shim, he did some other like Queens shit. Like he doesn't have like a lot of joints, but I know. We can keep moving. I'll do a quick search.
Yeah, I just wonder because I don't remember that name.
I feel like maybe I only remember it from this, but
he did a song on China White. Or China Doll, the Foxy Brown album.
Okay.
He did a song on Mace's Double Up.
Okay.
He did something on the Violators album.
Okay, this makes some sense.
Beanie Siegel's The Truth. What else? BK Anthem for Foxy Brown. Some Funkmaster Flex. Interesting. We're talking about the mixtape connection. He's got a small, but
so basically he's got a beat on every less regarded album from great artists, right?
Okay,
right.
So he did What Your Life Like, for Beanie Siegel. Let's see.
Yeah, okay.
He did a song on Memphis Bleak's Made album. So, okay, like he was working, but, you know, I don't know. I don't think we have to say anything else.
All right, yeah. It's god-awful, though. It's god-awful.
Oh, he did one too, y'all. Memphis Bleak, Jay-Z, Lil C's, and G to K.
That's probably his...
That's the song I made.
Yeah, I like that joint.
Yeah, this beat is, just to put a cap on it though, this beat is, it's god awful. It reminds me of like when I used to run around with I Make Mad Beats early in my rap life, and we would run up on a session somewhere and there'd be a producer there, and he'd be like, "Yeah, bro, like I just gave beats to Jay-Z, man. I just gave beats to this guy, and Nas is considering me for my next album, for his next album."
I mean, and then this might have been this guy.
It might have been this guy, and then they would play a beat, and then you'd be like, "Ooh, that's like sounds like your first beat." Like that's what you'd be thinking, and then I Make Mad would play a beat, and then that guy would then be saying, "Yeah, you know, I'm just getting started." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this is and I'd be like, "I thought you was producing the blueprint. Like, what happened?" So yeah, this is terrible, man. Like, I hate it. But Prodigy does his thing.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Noid. You know, I can do or not do Noid. Like, I am totally in the middle with Noid. If Noid's on a song, cool. If he's not on a song, cool. I have no allegiance left or right with Noid, but you know, that's that record.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next song. It is "Wannabe Thugs" featuring Havoc and produced by Havoc.
Cause loose lips sing shit. Be you like cat? He be like hell no. It works, cause he know that the fucking truth first. Niggas, let niggas bring him down in the day they cool. After 6, they throw on a nightgown, loud sounds. Expected after sundown. Man down, half crowns get shot down, and right now wanna be thugs. There's sugar in they tank. Wanna be thugs. No.
Is this the same sample as the sample for the JID song? The first JID song that came out, the never had shit, never do shit, never do shit. You know what I'm talking about? No,
I don't think this is even a sample.
Okay, it sounds very similar. It's the same note. So, but you're right. It might not even be a sample.
Yeah, this. What your face is saying something before I was going to start talking.
Thank you for listening to my face.
Yeah,
I fuck with this song. I like it. It's haunting. It isn't the traditional Mobb Deep sound, I think mostly because of the drums. But the character of the music to me is definitely sinister. And at this point for me in listening to this album, I'm really happy to hear Prodigy and Havoc together on a song. So for me, this is a keep.
Yeah, this is a cut for me because I hate these whisper layers under the chorus, like "wanna be thugs." like that's just such a 2000 vocal stack thing to do. Like I don't know, I don't hate this song, but it's not like, for it to be Havoc's first appearance is pretty underwhelming.
Sorry, I dropped for you. I dropped my headset laughing at Optiks. Wanna be thugs? Yeah.
That's all I hear is whispers.
It sounds like the kind of Mobb Deep. It sounds like a Havoc production. Like I hear the Havoc in it, but it sounds like the kind of joint that wouldn't have made a Mobb Deep album. Like, and Mobb Deep have more cutting room floor joints than like any group ever. There's hundreds of Mobb Deep songs floating around that haven't made albums and a lot of them are really good. You know what I'm saying? But this sounds like it would have been one of those batches and probably on the lower end that's not so good. I also feel like while this does sound like a Havoc beat, I feel like Havoc made it after walking in on the Robert Kirkland session and being like, "Oh, this is why you don't want me to produce most of this record. I'll show you." And then
he whispered it as he said it. He whispered it under, "I'll show you."
And then so I'm gonna actually side with Optiks here and make the cut.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm not torn up about it, but you guys don't like "Wanna Be Thugs." Wanna be.
Oh man.
Everybody in Queens is gonna hate me.
Oh yeah.
I'm just unintentionally taking shots at everybody that's alive in Queens right now.
Yeah, another thing too, that like I don't love this beat that much, and also, again, 23 years ago, and also true now that I have entered my 4th decade, I don't really need to be driving around hearing guys like. Scolding, whisper or scolding the concept of wannabe thugs. Yeah. Like whatever, bro. Like, all right, I'm not here for thug glorification, but that's my own. That's my own
here for
personal take.
Sugar Daddy Tank. You're not here for that? All right.
Nah, it's fine. All right, we're gonna move on to track 10. Track 10, produced by Alchemist. It's 3 featuring Cormega.
Snatch the biscuits from out the lawn. Fuck a cab, let's take cracked out your laundry saw. We gave that bitch 2 wibbles and skated off with a vehicle for that pillow. All outside the borough. Darn, what happened to Queens? Like Sufton in 121. Farmers in 116th. They got us on the BQE just to get a taste of that greenery.
It's so funny to know what they would eventually do, and also knowing what Alchemist's whole steez is presently, to think if there was ever a world where Prodigy didn't just think, oh, should I just work with Alchemist for my whole first solo album? Like, why not? Because these are highlights. Not only are they just dope beats on principle, but clearly Alchemist understood what Prodigy would sound good on, and Prodigy understood how to pick the right Alchemist beats as well.
Yeah, I'm glad he picked this instead of Pharoah Monch No Mercy, which I love, but I don't know, you guys know that story. That was like a beat that Alchemist was saving for Prodigy and really trying to convince him to rap on, and then Pharoah wanted it and like asked him permission. He was like, I'm not rapping on that shit. Because he knew his sound. This song 3 is like, Keep It Thorough is the highlight of this project, but this is probably my favorite song. It's such a simple, great beat. Really, I mean, Alchemist could have made this beat like yesterday. Like it's
no, it has too much drums on it now. Too much drums.
Nah, because there's no hi-hat. This is just like the shit he's doing now, actually. And this shit's dope. Cormega's verses, like I always think of, I'm on a bench eating chicken wings and French fries. Like that line's always in my head for some reason. Every time I eat chicken wings, especially when I'm high on a bench. But this shit's dope. I love this. Keep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the. Sean, did you say keep?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was gonna say I was going for the trifecta, but I didn't remember if you went already.
It's a keep. It's a keep for me. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'll go for the trifecta. It's a keep. I mean, man, like what a foreshadowing of like what Alchemist is gonna turn into and do. Like, like it's funny with hip hop. Like we've got the holy grail of producers, and I think for most of our lives, it was an uncrackable list of guys. You know what I'm saying? There's Primo, there's Dr. Dre, there's Pete Rock, there's RZA, there's these guys, there's Dilla, whatever. But then, like, Alchemist is one of the 5 best producers of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's at a point, and if you look at the last 20 years of Alchemist making music, I don't know. Alchemist has outlasted the careers of all of those guys. You know what I'm saying? As far as length of time making good music, and is still making good music. Like but it's weird. It's weird to say something like that because we have this holy trinity or holy whatever of guys that you just nobody can crack those lists. And I think Alchemist is, in my opinion, Alchemist is one of the GOAT producers of all time. He's right up there with all of those guys. And this was a great foreshadowing of like, hey, the next 15 years, he's going to go on a wild run and like produce like all kinds of crazy shit, all over the place. So it's fire. I will say, man, I'm not the biggest Cormega fan. I know one day we're going to do a Cormega album. We'll probably do The Realness or something, and it's going to be rough for the kid. It's going to be rough because I am not a Cormega guy. I like 3 Cormega verses. And outside of that, I could do without some Cormega. And the main reason is because every verse sounds like he's punching in, and I hate it.
Yeah.
It sounds like he punches in every line, and I hate it. It also sounds like he doesn't finish words, and I hate it. There's no emphasis on the last letter of any word, so the word just has a open ending to it. It drives me crazy. So I could do without the mega part, you know. Shout out to Cormega. I don't want no problems.
Can you really adhere a shout out at the end of that long statement you just make? I don't like him. I don't like his work. I have a critical problem with everything that he does. But shout out to Cormega.
I'm only talking about his raps. I've met him several times. He's a nice guy. I think he's really cool as shit. But
yeah, I've heard he's a very nice guy. Yeah.
He's
my homie. He records with my homie down the block. Actually,
he's a really nice guy. And let me be clear. He's a good rapper. I just don't like the way he raps. You know what I'm saying? So that's a personal thing. But it's still a keep. The Alchemist joint's too crazy. I don't think you can cut Alchemist joints on here.
We'll see. We have one more left, I believe.
We have two more.
Or two more left. Yeah, you're right. All right, let me not get ahead of myself. We're going to move on to the next track. It is Dealt with the Bullshit, featuring and produced by HNIC.
Niggas gotta eat, fuck settling for crumbs. Hell no, make a bum on the streets looking dumb. Till hell freezes over, yo, y'all niggas better run. Cause I dealt with the bullshit, lived through the bullshit. No doubt, yeah. So put a clamp on them loose, my niggas do kill shit. Cause I done dealt with the bullshit, lived through the
Okay, there were some whispers on that.
Whisper guns.
Yeah, whisper guns. I guess that's a silencer.
That must be the silencer.
Yeah, I'm less offended by that. That makes sense.
Optiks, where you going? I gotta see where Optiks
this
goes.
This similar to Infamous Minded, I'm like, this was definitely gonna be a cut. I think, just thinking ahead, I'm like, I'm not decided yet, because this one, I don't...
We're here.
Yeah.
There's not much more time.
All right, you know what, then I'll just go with my gut.
Let's pause the podcast, come back tomorrow.
Right? Yeah, I'll be back in a second. All right. I'll stick with what I was gonna do. This is a cut. I really like I won't say the name because I think it's still uncredited, but the sample on this, I have the record and I like using it in the background of things. It's like a cool sample, so I kind of like that. But
wait, you only like the sample in the background of things? It can't be the foreground of anything?
Well, that's kind of my problem with this track.
Okay.
There's just not a lot. There's just not a lot going on. So yeah, it's not bad. It's just not great either. I'd say.
Yo, Optiks, you know what this beat reminds me of? It's a worse version of. I said a hoe gonna be a hoe, a nigga gonna be a nigga.
Yeah.
No matter what the fuck you think. That joint, you know
that's
that joint?
similar. Like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. This sounds like a worse version of that. So it's a cut for me too.
It's right in that bag. Like, yeah.
So you're cutting it.
It's a cut. It's a cut for me too.
All right, my vote was to keep it because I guess I'm the only guy who honors the sanctity of the Mobb Deep Union. You guys are just like being like, oh, a Havoc track? Get the fuck out of here. This is Prodigy album.
He didn't. Well, Quiet Storm was supposed to be on this album. Havoc would have been on here then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That would have been wild. My vote was to keep. But I've already sort of expressed my feelings towards this album. We're about halfway through now, so there's going to be more songs that we're going to have to keep, and we've kept 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. So that makes me think that we collectively feel that this is an album that's a bit more backloaded, perhaps. But yeah, my vote was to keep. I liked the vibe of the sample. It's laid back. I do agree that it is minimal, maybe to a fault, but that didn't really bother me. But we're taking it out back and we're going pow, pow, pow. Pow, pow, pow.
Oh, I also have an affinity for hooks where you say a couple things in rap form and then you just laugh and talk afterwards. Like, yeah, we ran up in the spot. Yeah, that's what's up, yo. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you say some more rap shit. Like, I always have a love for that, but nah, it's definitely still cut.
Yeah, I ironically did not love that in this song, but that's fine. We're moving on to track 12, produced by Alchemist, Trials of Love featuring BK.
You was my dog, so I stayed faithful. But I be goddamn if I be some nigga dumb bitch. It's fucked up, it gotta go down like
Yo,
this.
have you ever had a bitch that'll pop guns for you?
Type of nigga, you do anything he asks to.
Snake bitch turn around and backstab you.
Crab nigga found out he fucking around too.
One of my favorite shits on the record. It's when I go to this album, that's one of the joints that it's funny because I never, for a lot of albums that I love, I know what number certain tracks are. I never know what number this song is. I just fish around on the album until I find it. And it's funny because I barely even know what the name of the song is. I just fish around until I click, oh, here it is. But I love it. It's classic Alchemist. That sample, one of my favorite samples. I remember I actually first heard that sample on the, before I heard the beat of it, I heard the sample on the Khan and Amir tape. And loved the sample on the Khan and Amir tape. And then when I ended up hearing it on this, I was like, oh, fire. Like, this is probably why they put it on the Khan and Amir tape. But crazy. Love it. Great back and forth with the shorty, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just it's dope joint all around to keep for me.
Prodigy's wife, also. That's who that is. I think
Ms. Bars.
Well, she's credited as BK, right, on this song.
Well, she's AKA Ms. Bars.
Oh, okay. She is. She's AKA Ms. Bars. All right, makes sense.
Yes.
We're doing the hard investigative research here.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I need more time, to quote Optiks. I do really like the sample. I like the beat. I don't love the raps, but I also now am short. Yeah, I said I love the raps. I'm a little short now on songs that I was going to keep, so I think I'm going to lean towards keeping it now just because it is just a really dope beat. But this is not one that had or has a lot of replay value to me as a song. So it's a reluctant keep. Optiks?
Yeah, this is a keep for me. You know, he has his wife on this. Is one that I've grown to love more over time too. Like, this wasn't one of my favorite songs originally, but listening now, it feels like an important track on the album. And the beat's fire. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we got 5 that we've kept, and now we're on track 13. It's the title track to the album H.N.I.C, produced by Easy LP.
Niggas rather hang up, that niggas know my handle. Talking like you straight up, done. I catch you while you shopping for kicks. Surprise, bitch, shootouts are spontaneous and from now on, call me Columbo, cause I come through wrinkled up. Think I give a fuck? Look at my chain, look at my anklet. But are you listening to the words, man? My shit bang. That's one of my favorite Prodigy lines. I catch you while you shopping for kicks. Surprise, bitch. Oh, good old Prodigy. You know, you can't be mad at him. Big keep for me. Love this record. You know, Easy LP, man. Not enough Easy LP love in the universe, man. Like, you know, Easy LP really didn't disappoint all that much, man. So big love for Easy LP.
Easy LP's got some of the craziest beats we've ever heard. Like, Uchiwali beat's great no matter what you think of the song.
It's a great,
that beat's
great
incredible.
Beat.
Get Away.
He's got range too. I mean, like, there have been times that I've been digging through like albums or looking at liner notes, and I'm surprised sometimes to be like, "Oh, this was Easy LP," or
"Oh yeah,
Easy
he
LP
did what's the Doggy Style All Stars joint? Tell 'em Like It Is." That shit was cool.
There was an album recently that we were talking about. I think we might have done on the podcast that was an Easy LP beat, and I don't remember what it was, but. Yeah. Oh, it was on Nori's album. But it was not like an Easy LP sounding type beat. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like kind of smoothed out.
But yeah, he's right there. Like him and like Nasheem Myrick are kind of like slept on guys of that era. Yeah, this is a keep for me too. It's title track. You know, really like I feel like this beat gets a little slept on because of keep it thorough. Like some of the other stuff that's sort of like similar samples in a way, like the turnaround to keep it thorough anyway. But I mean, this shit's dope.
My vote was to cut only because it's a little. The beat is a little boring to me, and the hi-hat I think is way too loud. This is just me being very like super, analyzing it producer and mix wise. It almost sounds like the vibe of the sample makes it sound like it should be the last track on the album. It's very much like riding off into the sunset, closing credits feels, but it's in the middle of the album, which is weird to me. But I'm outvoted, and we're keeping it. So that it is what it is. We're moving on to the next song, or the next track, I guess, because it's a skit. It is Be Cool.
Now, we gotta lay cool.
We tired of being cool, man. Every time we turn around, you telling us to be cool. Shit, man, we tired. Every time we get in an argument, we say be cool. The same thing, be cool. We be too cool, we gonna lose.
Just put the fucking skits at the end of songs,
Right.
B.
Yeah.
Like, not in the beginning of songs, not with its own track, at the end of some song. You've now given the listener the opportunity to decide whether they want to deal with this or they don't. And I just don't understand the 90s and the late 90s and early 2000s. Like, what the fuck were we doing? But yeah, it's a cut.
Yeah, I mean, it's the least egregious because putting it on the front of a song would be the worst thing. Although I guess for this, it's only 15
so short,
seconds.
yeah.
It's so short that you could kind of tolerate it. But yeah, I think we can all agree that our preferred distribution of skits, top priority would be put it at the end of the song. Second would be to make it its own track, which they've done here. And then third, or don't do it at all, is put it on the front. I guess also just don't put it on the album at all.
Yeah, don't do it at all.
It's an option. It's an option.
All right, it's a unanimous cut. We're moving on to track 15, produced by Alchemist, Veterans Memorial.
I flashback, we was little niggas living most real. 1989's when we first met, we first clicked over convo, getting twisted. In Dun Grand Earth crib, cutting out of school. Watching cable, it seemed like the other day. Through the eyes of a stranger, we was kids. But in our own minds, we was grown men. Outside on the block, we would play the bench. And y'all play.
We're just keeping every Alchemist Prodigy.
We have to. We have to.
What can I
Like,
say?
I don't know. I feel like there's certain producers that just, I was talking to Deli about this recently, my producer Deli. There's certain producers that just have the same metronome. You got the same, you get it. You look at the artist and you get them. You get what they're trying to do. You understand their sound. You understand their energy. You look at music in a similar fashion that the artist does. You can interpret what they're thinking and what they're trying to say. I think a lot of producers have the ability to do that, but the key is finding the person that you can do that with. And I think the existence of Prodigy is what made Alchemist a better producer. Like, I don't think that Alchemist made Prodigy a better rapper. I think Prodigy made Alchemist a better producer because Prodigy's ear for music and his ear for like, yeah, that's the one. No, that's not the one. You know what I'm saying? And like being able to kind of sort through. But that connection is phenomenal. Keep.
Yeah, it's a great vibe. It's a keep for me too. That is an interesting point you bring up, that who's the canvas for who? Is the producer the canvas for the MC, or is the MC the canvas for the producer? You know what I mean? And I think that they really had like that sort of symbiotic relationship when they worked together, and it just grew more and more as they worked together. Yeah, it's a keep.
Yeah, I mean, already too, but definitely a keep. And that's a good observation too that you and Deli had, and he's dope. Your new shit is dope, MidaZ. I was listening to that today actually. And like and I feel that as a producer, I feel that because it's like there's so many artists out there that I think are dope, and I don't know what I would do for them.
Right.
And then there's
so many producers that I think are dope, and I don't know what I would do for them. Like that's an interesting way that you say that, because I hear beats and I'm like, yo, you make crazy beats, bro, but like I don't need them. You know what I'm saying? That's
because like there's certain people you naturally click with, and then you can grow, or like it's like Like it's interesting. I saw my dude Matthew Regazzino I think he was featured on a record, and he hasn't been on anything for a while, but he's dope. But I know when we met, it was like one beat he picked, and that was the one that made sense. And then we got back in the studio together probably 6 years after that, and it was just kind of like, oh shit, like now we're on the same page. Now we had a bunch of shit, and we got to work. Yeah, Matthew, check this out. We gotta start working. I heard you're getting back in the studio. Let's do it.
Yeah, big shout out Matthew Regazzino. I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Yeah, that's fire. That's a great dude.
Fire.
He was he never wound up coming. I know you told me he was thinking about coming out to the questions and confessions thing that we did.
Oh, I didn't check to see if he came. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
He thanked me, so I don't know if he came or not.
Okay, well, if you're listening, Matthew, please reach out. Let us know. I assume he would have said what's up. All right, we're gonna move on to track 16, produced by Rockwilder. It is "Do It" featuring Mike DeLorean.
That's right, yo. Pack up, boy, you out to league. I be that nigga in charge, I be the niggas under me. This is my house, the fuck you think? You get spanked coming up in my shit. I run this, my shit pop like them white boys on MTV. This shit sound weak when it's played after me. There is no competition, I'm the #1 album of 2000. Cause your shit suck, me and Hab be the best niggas that ever.
I love Prodigy, bro. Rest in peace, Prodigy, bro. Prodigy's amazing. Prodigy's amazing. He says the simplest things, but cause y'all niggas suck. Like he says that. Like he's just phenomenal, bro. Rockwilder. This was the era of Rockwilder.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Super Rockwilder beat. Super
Rockwilder beat. I remember when I first heard this beat, I was like, Prodigy, like, and you again, without the hindsight, the 2020 hindsight, or at the time the ability to see the future. Like, again, I think Prodigy was just really early on to wanting to do something that I don't think he fully, like the producers didn't really exist that could do it the way that he was thinking it, I think. Because if you really listen to Product of the 80s, and you listen to H.N.I.C, like this sound is all over those records, but it's a way better version of this sound is all over those records. With Sid Rome's, like what Sid Rome's came on and started to do was this, but like a way more gritty version of this, because like these things always, the Swizz stuff always sounded really keyboardy and pretty, and then like Rockwilder stuff sounded like a little dirtier than Swizz stuff, but like it was still like, I don't know, it just had this sheen to it that was different than, and these guys, I think for super street dudes like a Prodigy or like, like Raekwon, like dudes from that ilk, this was going commercial to them. Like, all right, we're gonna do something like this, and this is like gonna be on the radio because we just heard what that kid DMX is doing, like type of thing. And I don't know, I think years later, Prodigy really found the right producers to do that sound, and it got a lot better. But I'm still, with all that said, I'm gonna keep it. I remember loving it. I think it's still a good addition to the joint, to the album, and yeah, for me, it's a keep.
Yeah, I do agree with everything that you just said. And it doesn't rub me in a wrong way whatsoever. But my vote was to cut it only because I think that there are other songs that better embody what Prodigy was doing on this album than this. For a Rockwilder beat and being a little bit more commercial and slick, it truly isn't very commercial. At all, honestly. But,
yeah, it's not. It's not at all.
But it's cleaner, and I think that's really what it is. It's just it's not dusty and it's not creepy, and so by those very specific metrics, it just seems more commercially intentional, I suppose. But my vote, it's a soft cut for me. There are other songs that I think are better, but I'm not going to be mad either way. And Optiks, you were going to make the final decision here.
How many tracks are we at right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.
Yeah, this was definitely going to be.
Is this going to be the first album that we got to go back and add songs? Like, all right, we got to go back. Fucking.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point. So yeah,
rock that shit. It's back on the album.
Yeah. So for me, this chorus is really bad. So like I was ready when I was listening through today. I was ready to keep this because this verse is hilarious.
It's Vince's Prodigy.
Like, he's talking so much shit. It's great. The beats, I can go either way on the beat. But yeah, the chorus is really bad, and I'm gonna cut.
All right, he's cutting it. So we're moving on to the next song, another skit. It's Littles.
Let the niggas know how we got up. Word.
Yo, my first whip in the ghetto, I was popping off 14 and had older bros dropping drawers. I'm supposed to be in school, but I'm chasing one, surrounded by these snakes and these faceless slums. Can't trust nobody, no friends, no one, cause it'll be your own friends in the hands of guns. How you think a nigga feel when a nigga can't sleep?
Littles sounds like he's from Harlem.
I was just about to say, he sounded like he needed to be on a Rockefeller album.
Yeah.
Rock La Familia early takes.
He also sounds like slightly like maybe he went to school with Mr. Fantastic from Rap Snitch Knishes. You know, some of the inflections. I don't remember where Mr. Fantastic was from, so I don't know which part of the city.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but he did play a rapper like he was an old accordion, so that did factor in.
Yes, I think it's like very admirable in a way that like I've never had the opportunity to even showcase that like you could be a huge rapper and be like, yo, I'm just gonna put my mans on the album. I don't know if it's more of a service or a disservice to not give the guy a beat or not. But I think it's actually very cool if you like really examine what that means. Obviously, I don't know if we heard anything from Littles after this. I'm not well versed enough in the extended.
There's some Littles.
Yeah,
there's a little Littles out there. Yeah.
I wonder, did him and Big Noid ever do a project like Big and Little?
Big and Little.
Little Big?
Well, they have a quartet album with bars and hooks. So there's
Little Big Bars and Hooks. Yeah, I mean, look, all that said, I'm just trying to think of complimentary things to say. That we don't need any of the skits on this album, so it's a cut.
So I'll jump in and quickly just say, yeah, it's a cut for me too. This sounded like Prodigy was like, yo, you know what was one of the smartest things I ever did on a record? Let Big Noid rap a cappella. And I'm going to do that again with Littles. And it's like, I think we caught lightning in a bottle the first time. And because this really worked when Noid did it.
Right.
Like that's one of the great a cappella moments on an album ever. The Big Noid joint, and then this is not. If the Noid joint didn't exist for me, I'd feel more inclined to be like, "Yo, this was something." But it just seems like a bad imitation of the Noid thing. So
it's interesting through that lens to look at something like this as being like, oh, it's so formulaic. They're just trying to copy the success of the last time they put an acapella.
Yeah, because nobody really does that. So it seems to be like a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like on a Mobb Deep joint. So yeah, it's a cut for me.
Yeah, Optiks. Any other notes that you have for this one?
No, this is a cut.
All right, moving on. Produced by Nashim, Myrick, and Prodigy, it's YBE featuring
much more than your ass. So many years and tears and blood and sweat that fell. It's dirt underneath my fingernails, speak for itself. I'd be the same if I had billions. Couldn't understand my pain if you lived it. Give me the riches and all of my duns and be driving. It's beautiful to see the click. Live comfortable to the young black entrepreneurs. Get rich, get money, get paper, get paid.
I'll tell you what, this bothers me a lot less than it did at the time.
Yo, you know why? Because we were so anti, like, why the fuck is BG on this? I remember that being a thing. Like, when this shit came out in school, we was like, fucking BG's on this shit? Like, get the fuck out of here. Now, again, the beauty of hindsight, like, I look at BG 1,000% different than I looked at BG when I was in high school, you know what I'm saying? And like, that's a fire joint, man. Like, the novelty of it. But actually, P and BG make some sense being on a song together. You know what I'm saying? In hindsight. So, nah, man, I'm a keeper of this one.
Yeah, this was gonna be a cut, but this was my last cut when I was kind of looking at the album by myself, and I'm gonna keep it now for where we're at. And I don't love like how BG sounds on the chorus of this, but like beats like this are my shit now. Like I love like anytime anybody from Queens is on a beat with this like 80s R&B sound to it, you know, like it's the shit. It's like my favorite shit to play in the car with the windows down. Like, you know, this is like something that I definitely appreciate more now than then. I didn't really listen to it when it came out.
It works astonishingly well as a hybrid of the two styles that they're combining, because it, as far as the drums go, definitely is in the wheelhouse of a Cash Money Millionaires type, you know, sound. But all of the other instruments, they don't sound wildly astray from Mobb Deep. There's a song on the Born Again album, the Biggie posthumous album, where he's rapping with the Cash Money Millionaires, and it's still grating to me because it totally sounds like a Cash Money song, and Big has no place being in this world. It feels just sacrilegious. This does not feel that way to me. It actually sounds like they met halfway in the middle, and this is what they came out with. So, yeah, my vote is to keep as well.
Word. You know what's crazy? When I got that Born Again album, like, for whatever reason, I didn't hate that song. Like, it was a good Manny Fresh beat. It's weird, but I had a soft spot for how random that was.
Well, when we do the Born Again album.
yeah, the episode 500, I'm in there for that.
Yes. All right, we're moving on to track 19, Diamonds, featuring Bars and Hooks, produced by Just Blaze.
You wanted them all, and bars and hooks, we coming. DeLorean and Mr. Balls, how about that? We some Queensbridge niggas that ain't all about rap. We own streets, run websites, log on to the one and only infamousstores.com. We load up the tour buses to get these checks. We independent, we don't need your respect. We infamous minded, you've been blinded. It's bars and hooks, nigga.
I love it. I love it. Major keep for me. One of my favorite joints on the album. It's just got Queensbridge charm, bro. People don't understand the Queensbridge charm, man. Like, it's a bunch of rappers that probably some of them aren't even rappers, but they were at the studio and it was like, yo, you should rap on this. It's like, I never wrote a rap. Yeah, we'll fucking figure it out. Let's go. Come on. Like, just get jungle. We'll talk shit. And then it's fire. So, yeah.
Just the way you even said, I never wrote a rap, like the way that you said that is the way that he's rapping on this, like the Bars and Hooks, where it's just like, I never wrote a rap. It's very like slogan-y. So much of his verse it just seems like slogans, and like in the same way that Prodigy does it. Prodigy just has the benefit of having a better voice.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a keep for me as well. I like it. I like the beat. It doesn't really sound like a Just Blaze beat, to be honest, and I enjoy that element of it. I don't have much more to add, but it's a keep.
Yeah, I was gonna cut this one. This song was always more just kind of like funny to me. I don't know, because they're talking about going diamond, like it's like Alanis Morissette went diamond. That's about it. Like,
so you're saying it was a bit ironic that they would try to put that out there?
Yeah.
Oh man, Sean, I love it.
Yeah, they ought to know.
Yeah. But I've been outvoted on this one, but that's a cut for me.
It's fucked up because normally I try to keep the dramatic interplay going. That, like, if you were feeling that way, you should have answered second, and then I would have swooped in and been
right.
Decided. But you know, I didn't know. I thought you were into going diamond.
I thought we were all gonna cut it. So I was wrong.
All right. Well, we're moving on to track 20. We're almost there, guys. Gunplay featuring Big Noid, produced by Rockwilder.
Dancing, shining, keep your head up, cause you get wet up. Flashing, diamonds, dancing, shining. With thugs like me, repping QBC. It's a place when it's cold out, niggas go all out. Make the dogs bark, you know, nigga, the gun spark. Drama we into, and bring it to you physical. With 4 5s, 4 9s, guns ain't a thing, dude. You know what them things do. Spraying late, whole crew, tension in the chills when I'm telling you. I know you get from 85.
Optiks, what do you think?
They really had
this was a cut for me. There's things I like about this, but
Optiks, you said 4 songs ago this was your last cut of your original joints. You've cut 2 songs since then.
No. I meant like the last song, not in order of the album.
Okay.
Like I was like, it was the next one that would have made it. This I never really listened to this a whole lot. It's not bad. I just, once again, both the Rockwilder joints, I don't like the choruses for. So it's like, it's hard to listen to a whole song if like you don't like the chorus. And like hearing it now, I'm like, I don't know why Noid and Prodigy were like layered together. But like, it's cool enough on its own. Other than that, I didn't listen to it much.
It exists. It's a song.
Yeah.
I don't feel super strong about it either. I think it's cool. It's fine. I like the interplay between Noid and Prodigy.
I like Big Noid, so it's not for him.
My vote is to keep, actually. I just like the vibe of the beat. Again, as far as my personal taste, am I going to drive around bumping a song where they're talking about guns? Like, no, not really. But again, I'm entering Prodigy's world, so this is this is what I'm here to do. So yeah, my vote is to keep.
Oh man, yeah. My vote is to cut. And my vote is to cut primarily just because I just never really cared about this song. And I still don't really care about this song all that much. There's nothing that it does that... It's a cool record. It's just a joint that could have been on the Mobb Deep B-side volume 13, and it would have been cool.
That sounds like a diss. the B-side volume 13.
But only because they have like 45 volumes of B-sides. So no shade. They just have a lot of joints.
I wonder if any of the fatigue that we feel about this is the fact that it's track fucking 20 on the album. You know, if this was like a track 3 or 4, I wonder if it would hit a little different.
Sequencing matters in these things, man. Sequencing matters.
I think it would, yeah, because I just hear this and I'm like, oh, this should have been on like the In Too Deep soundtrack or something. They should have got a check for this.
I'll say this too. You said sequencing matters. I'd say even with whatever cuts we do, if we felt like satisfied with this, I don't think this is a very well sequenced album. This album actually doesn't have any sense to its sequencing whatsoever.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, as much as P typically has a great ear for beats, it seems like he lacked the Havoc oversight of like, sequencing.
You know, maybe he wasn't in charge on the Mobb Deep albums.
Maybe he wasn't the head nigga in charge. Good call. I like it.
Whew. All right, song 21, You Can Never Feel My Pain, produced by Rick Rude.
1974, motherfucker, I was born with pain. My moms and my pops passed it down to me. So don't talk to me about can I feel yours, cause I ain't feeling you at all. Your pain isn't pure. You crying cause you broke from the projects. That's not pain, that's emotions. You a bitch. I'm talking about permanent physical suffering. You know nothing about that.
I like that even on a vulnerable, unprecedented type of song, he still says that's not pain, you a bitch.
You a bitch. Good old P. This is one of the joints that defined the record to me. So it's a big keep. Remember, the first time hearing it, being like, damn, bro, like he's talking about the sickle cell shit, and like that's deep, like I don't know, it always touched me. So and now with the benefit of hindsight and seeing where the story went, like the song is even more haunting. So yeah.
Yeah, it's also a great beat, and I think not only just for the vulnerability of the content, but also for a record that doesn't have a lot of unique themes throughout. It certainly helps if you can get anything that's a topical song. So it's like, this is gonna stand out because it's one of the few ones that, even though he is name calling and being, classic Prodigy, he's not he's not just talking about murdering and all that shit. So yeah, I think that this is an obvious keep for me.
Yeah, big keep. You guys said everything that really needs to be said about it, but this is one of the best songs on the album.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've got one more. It's the HNIC outro, track 22.
I'm the head nigger in charge.
Keep. No.
I mean, low key. you probably, like, he should have attached it to the previous song, and you got to keep it. It's fire, but you got to cut it.
No, this should not be attached to "You Can Never Feel My Pain." It could have been attached to something, though. It
could have been attached to the beginning of the album.
Yeah.
Yes. Or I could see a world where you put it to the end of "You Can Never Feel My Pain," but following like a 3-minute gap of silence. Just like a hidden thing or something.
Somebody,
it just comes
you forget that it's playing. You like fall asleep. You forget that the album's on 3 hours later.
Yeah.
I'm the head nigga in charge.
Sorry. All right, so we've got 11 songs. We've got to lose one of them. Here's the 11 that we have. It's Genesis, What You Rep, Keep It Thorough, Can't Complain, 3, Trials of Love, HNIC, Veterans Memorial, YBE, Diamond, and You Can Never Feel My Pain. So we got to lose one. We'll do a quick lightning round. Anybody have a suggestion of what to put here?
All right,
Diamond.
so it's Diamond or it's YBE if we're looking at it that way. And I don't know. What do you say, Sean? He says Diamond.
I mean, honestly, my gut would still say to cut the title track just because I find it to be very underwhelming, but I know that I'm not going to get support from either of you guys.
But when you say that, you like YB and Diamond more than the title track, or is it just that you don't really like the title track?
I would say that I like it more, and I realize that that's a hot take, but
it's a hot
that's
take.
how I feel. But that's fine. I know I'm not going to get support there. So between YBE and Diamond, because let's be honest, these are both weird, and
they're weird, yeah,
and like kind of.
If we had Rock That Shit still, it'd be a little bit more.
No, get out of here. No,
congruent of a thing.
Absolutely not. I'm gonna edit in the sound of audiences booing while you said that. Yeah, they're both weird. Kind of. I don't know why I'm cracking up at this. Just thinking about them. They're both odd, really kind of quirky, funny songs.
This is a real struggle for you.
I don't know if I'm just delirious.
Couldn't plan for this.
Yeah, of all the albums that we've done, this is the hardest decision you've had to make through all fucking making Illmatic. You're like, yo, I don't.
Yo, this isn't like oh wait, well I guess I did make my pick. Wait, MidaZ, you didn't, so
no, because so you made the pick. I queued up the second possible song, so that's why I was like, all right, Sean, what you got? And Sean, he's just like, yeah, I don't fucking know.
I'm losing it right now. I'm fucking losing it. I don't know why. Well, do you agree with either of Optiks' picks?
I agree. Oh God, I'm about to have tears in my eyes too.
I like the skit, guys. Come on.
I agree that one of those two has to go if in this situation. But
yo, I don't know what is happening.
I was telling Sean he should take shrooms. Did you do it?
Like, oh shit!
They just kicked in?
No. Little microdose? Is that what this is?
Nice.
MidaZ is holding up shrooms.
I had a rapper friend left these here.
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
I need some of those. I didn't have something that that well packaged.
So Sean, YBE or Diamond? Oh shit!
Edit this shit the fuck down, man.
No. This is staying. This has to stay.
Okay, all right.
We have a good time.
I'll vote it again. Fuck.
Boo. No, you know what it is? It's just so silly that like it comes down to these two songs that absolutely do not define the record at all. Like they're just, I just find it funny. That's what we're coming down to. I guess I'd cut Diamond. My vote would be for Diamond only because I just think it's kind of cool and a good encapsulation of the. I don't know, because like, am I trying to make this a time capsule of the era, or am I just trying to make this? Because I think that Diamond is probably a better song for the aesthetic of the record.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It is, but the BG feature is kind of a thing. So,
yeah,
you know, you kind of want to keep the thing. I'll say this, man. I'll make the decision here. It'll be Diamond because we got enough Queensbridge on this album. So let's have some fun with BG.
All right, so we've cut it to 10. That means we got Genesis, What You Rep, Keep It Thorough, Can't Complain, 3, Trials of Love, HNIC, Veterans Memorial, YBE, and You Can Never Feel My Pain.
Yeah, I can't ever feel your pain, bro. I can't feel it.
I don't know what I'm feeling right now. So the question is, now that it's cut to 10, how has this affected our mic ratings? Optiks, you had this. What was your initial rating? Was it a 4? Did you say?
I said 3.5.
That's right, you did.
And where is it now?
Well,
knowing that you didn't get your way on like 50% of this album.
It would have been 4.5. I'll give it this. It's a solid 4 for me now.
I think I started with 3, and I think I might be at 3.5. I don't think I hit 4.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I was at 3, and I would say this is probably 3.5. Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree that even though this was a pivotal moment in his career, that things got better and that he was able to dial in. So, you know, this is a significant album, but is it a classic album? I don't think we thought it was a bona fide, untouchable classic before, and I don't think even with the trimming that we've done, it still isn't there, but we all agree that we improved it.
Yeah, I think it's improved for sure. But yeah, he got a lot. He got his solo albums after this are all really good. So when we eventually get to do some of those records, they'll be much harder cuts.
Yeah, I agree. Although I might not have as hard a time as I did earlier trying to breathe when talking about Diamond or YBE. But we want to know what you think, so hit us up. We'll have links to our socials in the show notes, and go stream Shandy by Optiks. And yeah, we'll see you on the next go round.